Hello, and welcome back to Enemy of My Enemy. We are here for chapter 5, which is the final chapter in this Vampire the Masquerade / Hunter the Reckoning hybrid World of Darkness series that we have been very, very excited to share with all of you. I really appreciate everyone for coming out. Before we get into introductions and into the show, Drak, my lovely Drak, I know that you have some housekeeping for us.
Yes. As you all know, as you can see from the overlay, I never know which way to point the overlay, that we are sponsored by Hero Forge. Hero Forge is a place where you can fully customize your tabletop miniatures with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. You actually might have seen it some earlier this week. We actually posted our characters that we created on Hero Forge on the Demiplane Twitter. So if you haven't seen that already, check out the Twitter, retweet, like it, see our very hot characters, in my humble opinion. I'm not biased or anything. I might be biased, but just because I'm biased doesn't mean I'm not right. So I'm biased and right. It's a very easy tool to use to design how your characters might look like, with a bunch of different equipment and weaponry and clothing and body parts you can add on. I believe recently they actually added, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm saying it anyway. Pretty sure they added top surgery scars as a thing you can add to your characters on Hero Forge now. So if you want to do that, happy Pride, do that. You can try that out on Hero Forge. And on Hero Forge, if you can't afford to buy and have it sent over, you can actually download the model files, so you can use them and print them out on your own 3D printer or any other 3D printers you have access to. I did that a lot. I'm making great use of my 3D printer that I'm allowed to use on campus. So if you have anything like that, please do. And honestly, at the end of the day, your role-playing world is colorful. Make your miniatures just as colorful. We're also sponsored by Demiplane. This is the home of our show, and that's the tool we're using to look up the rules and reference them. And it's made it a lot easier to reference them. And you all can get the chance to do that yourself in chat. This can be the last episode, so it's the last chance to do this, to enter the giveaway. We're going to be giving away a Vampire the Masquerade Ultimate Bundle and Hunter the Reckoning core book on Demiplane or Demiplane Nexus. And to enter that giveaway, look at the mods in chat. They'll tell you exactly what to do. I believe it's been #enemy during break. So if you stick around and do that, you might get a chance to win those books and maybe run your own campaign similar to Enemy of My Enemy. And if you do, tag us. I would love to know what happens in your world and how hunters and vampires interact there. Do they immediately turn on each other like ours did? I don't know if you could turn out that bad, but if you can, let us know. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. No, it's not. I always do this. I'm still talking, so I'm going to keep talking. Hi, I'm Draconics, or Drak. I'm the project lead of this project, and also I play Enoch Igweze. He uses, just like me, he/they pronouns. I think about lying and just being like, he's a great person who is very kind of... No, he's kind of a terrible person. There's been a lot of fun playing him, but let's see who can be a terrible person that does good things today. Who knows? But I'm going to throw it over to my, in my opinion, better hunter, but I'll be honest, kind of a low bar, Matt.
That is setting an extremely kind precedent for both of us. Hello, beautiful people. How's it all going? Thank you so much for coming along. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. My name is Matt, Captain Crail on all things. I am they, he. We love that they, but also sprinkle in some he's. We love that. If I'm Captain Crail on all things, so if you Google Captain Crail on a social media, I don't think you can do that, but if you search Captain Crail on social media, if something is to come up, that is almost 100% me, unless someone is doing some very weird identity. Aside from doing this, also primarily GM the Atomless, which is a sci-fi space opera. It's a award-winning. Twice! No, award-winning? Oh my god, award-nominated. Holy shit, can you imagine? If
You're
I
manifesting. You're manifesting.
You're
Hi,
manifesting.
Award-winning. Award-nominated. Now twice an award-nominated, since there was another round of of award noms coming out, which is very exciting. It is a little sci-fi adventure about a bunch of broken people trying on a broken spaceship and trying to make the galaxy a better place, but often failing and doing morally questionable things. It's delicious. You can watch the actual play on our YouTube channel, or you can listen to the audiobooked version, which is what we're calling it, as it's kind of like an improvised audiobook where as a podcast, we take out all of the mechanics talk and we move things around and we add music and pregnant pauses and we add sound effects, and it's oh so delicious. We've just started a brand new arc and we've had our first guest, and it's currently Wild West arc. So if you like Wild West and you want to have a fun little cowboy themed adventure, now is an absolutely perfect time to hopscotch in. And with that, I am going to pass it on over to the... See, because we've opened every session by saying arch nemesis. However, I believe because they are so much more similar than they would like to give themselves credit for, almost mirror image on the side of the vampires. Mirror image seems... Is that not fair? Does that not seem fair? No? Oh, well, they... Okay. Hey, listen, I'm wrong. Raven, it's you. Let's go.
Yeah, frenemy works, but
Frenemy?
mirror image, no, because you are a monster, Henny. Let's get that situated real quick.
That's fair.
Okay,
That's fair.
coming
I'll
to
take that
defend
out.
my fellow hunter.
ta-
What explains what happens in the back room? Please, Ime, what happens in the back
Oh,
room?
yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it. If you haven't seen it, then you don't have
You're
to
in
worry about it.
denial
Anyway, moving on. Hi, I'm Raven. They, she, any. I play Ime, who is obviously, I guess Auguste's better half, even though they don't know it yet. Because I'm shipping it, weirdly enough. Like, I'm just shipping it.
Oh.
The vibes have changed so drastically now.
It's
Quick,
just gonna
take
be, it's gonna
notes,
be,
take
yeah,
notes.
it's gonna be a frenemy situation. But I am an TTRPG actual player. Please stop, I cannot. Little baby GM / facilitator. I play a lot of TTRPGs, but we were discussing earlier that I haven't really played TTRPGs outside of being live. So that is my goal for the year. We are going to play TTRPGs for fun, even though this is fun, but we're gonna do it. And yeah, I'm just wild. I am your self-proclaimed unwholesome goth friend on the dark corner of the internet, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to pass it over to Hamnah.
Yes, hi, hello. My name is Hamnah. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer and producer. Today, I will be playing Fanaa, who uses they, them pronouns, and Fanaa is our salubri who is being hunted by the ghost riders for reasons unknown. We're going to figure it out, though, I think, today. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to put an end to it, and then everyone will leave them alone, right? Right. Stella, am I correct?
I don't know. Hopefully. We'll see. Hi everybody, I'm Stellaluna on Twitch, Stellaluna TV on all other social media. Today I'll be playing Kim Raelyn. I am a Le Sombre vampire, so that means, if for whatever reason Enoch wanted to pass over their Switch, I literally couldn't play it. We have problems with technology, but I get to do cool things like have shadow tentacles. So, I think it's a good
I'm sorry,
Say
did you
that
say
again?
shower tentacles?
shadow.
Shadow. I heard shower as well. I was like,
Shower, and I was
tentacles.
like, wait, hold on.
That's fine.
I mean,
Shadow
you're
tentacles
not.
in the anyway. I'm a TTRPG producer and performer. You can find all of my information over on my Twitter at Stellaluna TV. And without further ado, I shall pass it on to our wonderful storyteller.
Hi, hello, I'm Dillin or Super Dillin. My pronouns are she, he, and they. Please use them all if you like. No, I take it back. Use them all. I'm not giving you
yeah, it's not if you
agency
like,
in
use
that.
them all.
Do it. I am an AP performer and RPG writer. And the one thing I wanted to shout out tonight is that tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. and ending at like 10 p.m., it's a full 12 hours. I'm going to be participating in a live stream D&D event benefiting the Trans Lifeline over on the Unprepared Casters stream. You can see me, you can see Persephoroth, you can see Connie Chung, you could see Acadiosaurus, you can see Brennan Lee Mulligan. You could see a lot of people there, and your donations to the charity will affect my fate tomorrow. So I hope that you show up. That's
I'm so nervous for you with Brennan Lee Mulligan there.
Don't
so many
talk
power
to me.
gamers in
I'm
there.
so
I'm
no,
terrified for you.
no. We're good. We're good. It's gonna be. He's just a guy. He's just a guy. So I am very excited about that. Very excited for the benefit. But I'm very excited right now to get to the conclusion of our story. Here with our vampires and our hunters. And I think without further ado, let's run the intro and get into this final chapter.
Enemy of my enemy may include death, minor violence and or gore, exsanguination, blood, hunger, memory and or thought manipulation, classism, betrayal, romance, party conflict, heights, and real-life religion and political allegory. Everyone on this show has a set of safety tools to use if anything in our game becomes triggering for us, but we want you, the audience, to remain safe as well. If anything occurs that is triggering to you, please look after yourself and step away if you need to. And remember, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
The noise of the city is almost as comforting as quiet at the end of a night. It's normal. Inside of this apartment up above the bar, where most of you are now, you can hear the sounds outside. The world looks relatively normal. There is no gray, there is no wash to the color around you. But you know that that is only going to last so long. The scouts gave you 3 days to prepare. In this room right now, what are you doing? What would you like to do?
To clarify, is this immediately after the
Yes.
last events?
Yes.
I think if I recall correctly, August had just entered.
Yes.
Oh,
August
wonderful.
had just
Okay.
arrived.
Thank you. Established.
So I think seeing August enter the room after having immediately texted him already and not expecting him to be on his way, Fanaa, I think with maybe one hand still in Amber's mouth and the other still holding her other hand, just kind of like turns to look at August. And their eyes are crying vitae, so you know up until this point, I think you know that they have just used one of their disciplines. And they look at you, and they look at you with this look of like inquisitiveness, like asking without asking, like, what are you doing here?
Taking stock of the room. I understand. We must get this threat is more idle. We have to be somewhat of a team.
There's a deep sigh. And it's not one of like malintent or anger, or it's just a sigh of realization and a nod as Ime turns to look towards you. This is bigger than all of us. We are all of us. We're all in danger.
You said you had a library or some type of book that I could use.
I do. And I wave my hand, and this very tall, muscular femme comes forward, and I nod and gesture towards the library, and she is waiting to take you whenever you want. But before you leave, I make my way to a small cabinet of, it looks like little kitschy things, but all of them are from over decades of time. And I pull out a very old book, leather bound, tattered. The face of it is not legible. And I hand it to you. And you notice that the date is from about, I would say, 200 years ago. And it is Ime's journal. And when you open it, if you do, a lot of it is ancient beliefs, ancient African beliefs, with deities and folklore and monsters. And she offers a solemn smile. I've come to learn over the years of my life that there is not a single place that doesn't have some kind of story that resembles another. We are all more connected than you think in belief or otherwise. And this is personal to me. I hope for all of us. Maybe it'll make some sense to you.
As they had walked away from this living area, the two of them, to go and look at that very precious book, a sort of garbled sound from Amber. Okay,
And Fanaa's attention is snapped right back to Amber, and they, I think, like quickly remove their hand from her mouth. Oh, sorry. What was that?
Oh, no, don't apologize at all. Are you sure you trust that guy? I mean, not to, I mean, I agree. I agree with them. This is bigger, but they kind of seem a little stabby, you know.
Definitely a little stabby, but don't worry. I think that we can trust them. In this case, it's in their best interest to work with us. Afterwards, I don't know, but at least for now.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Whew. Okay. Well, so I mean, what now? What do we do?
Well, we have a few days, right? And Fanaa kind of looks over at Kim and Ime as they say that. Um, so I think we need to prepare in some way. Well, for one thing, I think we need to, Amber, figure out a way to make whatever you did more reliable.
Oh, yeah, I kind of did that on accident. That's fair. But um I think I think that we can.
Yeah. I was thinking actually if you're open to it, if you were willing to go out with me and hunt the if you could catch a hound and I could help try and make it more intentional, the process of getting in
I
there.
love to imagine that this entire time Kim has just been kind of leaning against the bar, just idly smoking, and just as you say that, she slowly turns to look at you from behind Amber, just staring deadpan into your eyes.
And Fanaa, I think, catches your eyes with like one of their very many scleras that they have, and they just like I think like half of their eyes are looking up at you, Kim, and half of them are looking at Amber, and they just kind of blink a few times back at you, and like not really sure what it is that like why you're staring, but they're just like, did I say something wrong?
A thin brow cocks as Kim leans up against the bar, definitely paying more attention to this conversation, but turns their eyes away from you.
Yeah. I could catch another one. In fact, I mean, and she sort of takes like a deep yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not gone. Uh I know everything feels normal, but I don't I think I could do that. We could do that.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds great. And in the meantime, Kim, if there's Madame Ime, if there's anything that either of you two would need to help you prepare.
Well, I've been considering perhaps I should make a stop at the church at some point, a few days. They might have some information, a lot of old dead things there to dig into. Hands up.
Stella, can you say that one more time? Just lean in a little bit more.
Yeah. Essentially, I was thinking about checking out the old church. I think that there are lots of old dead things there. We might be able to find some information, maybe some solace.
Ime pauses and kind of stops as she was walking with Auguste and nods. Yes, I do think that would be wise, especially with we're dealing with things on the other side of the veil. Kane should be up shortly with Jabari and some other wolves of his pack. I think we're going to be in a very interesting place soon.
Maybe Jabari could also help hunt some of these hounds for you to practice on. I'm not really sure. All I can really do is get us in there with Amber's help. I'm not really much of a fighter, so I don't think I will be that useful once we're inside.
Don't sell yourself short, Fanaa. I've seen in you things you have yet to see in yourself. And she kind of smiles and checks her phone as she gets a text from Kane. And then looks to Auguste and would proceed to walk with him towards the library.
When you both walk, I think August takes the journal with sense of story.
Matt, my love, can you be closer to your
No
mic?
way. Yes,
I'm so
no, you're
sorry.
right. Hello.
It is-
No, it's grand. Takes takes the journal with like a sense of like adoration. It being this like 200-year-old story of a person is very like is something that you can clearly see resonates with him. Thank you. I am sure that it'll become of some use.
Good.
This church. Are you a religious person?
Not in a conventional sense, no. I don't believe, or what I did believe was frowned upon in society a lot of the times. Very, I guess, different. It is feared to be different. Not that I worshipped a devil, but I had the creator. And then I had the ruler of the sun and the goddess of the wind. My deities, when I did believe, were benevolent and kind. and never punished without reason. But I stopped believing before I was turned.
You have more humanity in you than I gave you credit. That is interesting.
August, the clench around your chest comes back for a moment. Briefly.
I must be left alone to work.
Of course. I do have one ask. Please return things as you have found them. And let me know if you need to take anything.
Nods and does a small grunt. It does seem like Auguste is on his best behavior. Is clearly like uncomfortable, but there's some form of something going on in his mind.
Ime moves to take her leave as they reach the door and stands in the threshold for a moment and looks over her shoulder. You'll come to find, Auguste, that when you live lifetimes, you really do learn the meaning of kindness. And she just walks away.
Mentally scoffing at that comment. Not given enough time to actually give a retort. Looks across the library for books of relevance, but then first I think their curiosity into reading about who Ime was is like a bit louder ping than the knowledge of these unknown ghost riders. So we'll have a brief glance before
Okay.
starting.
So to make sure I know the general plan of everyone in this room. So for Madame Ime, you've just given Auguste the ability to study in your personal library, including your personal journal and many ancient texts that may have some reference to these creatures or some magic that may be similar. Auguste, your plan is to study Ime a little bit, and then also these hopefully search for information in this room on these creatures.
Mainly find out about what kind of creates ghost riders or what they are, so that he can get an idea as to like how to sense them without being any form of supernatural.
Got it. Kim, I know that your general plan is to go to the church. There are a lot of things there that may have hints. Do you have any other thoughts brewing?
Yes. When we finally have a moment, Kim would like to pull Fanaa aside, perhaps making some space between Amber. Kim will lean in and lower their breath and say, "So what's the plan here with hunting hound?"
Well, you heard her say it. Amber doesn't exactly know how she does the thing. how she gets into these hounds enough to kill them, really. So I think that hunting, catching one, and practicing, and then doing it again and again until we can do it intentionally is the way to go. And then perhaps then we will know. Perhaps I can bring all of you.
There is a seriousness on Kim's face. Her chin lowers slightly so that she's looking at you in your eyes. You do realize that it is a problem that one of the hounds are missing already. You don't think that kind of thing would just go unnoticed, do you?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't know if they keep tabs on all of their hounds or not. They seem to have a lot of them.
Well, I hope you have a good plan, at least. This is going to be incredibly dangerous. Even with you, me, Amber, Jabari, whoever else you intend on inviting into this hunting party. It might not go as smoothly as you hope. It might prove to be a difficult task to take down even one. Amber might have just gotten lucky.
That's true. But without a hound, I don't know how to recreate what Amber did. Going into the memory can only bring me so far. I need to feel it. I need to see it. The
Kim-
center of it has to be within me.
Kim will reach out and gently put their hand on your elbow and give a gentle squeeze. I don't think I've said it enough. There are moments where you do make me proud.
And I think Fanaa is caught off guard by that because I don't think the two of them have ever been so expressive with each other before. I think Kim and Fanaa have this kind of implicit relationship where the two of them spend time together and they take care of each other in very small ways, I think, little signs, but they've never said it, I think. And so Fanaa is at first taken aback and they sink a little bit into your touch and they say, and I don't know if I've ever made it very clear, but I appreciate you and everything that you have ever done for me. Truth be told, I don't think I would be alive without you.
And opposite from your visage, Kim remains ever unimpressed and gently bitter. Just don't do anything foolish.
I wouldn't dream of it. And as Fanaa says that, because Fanaa can't lie, I think you can see, Kim, that there is a hesitation in their voice before they say that, and B, there seems to be a sense of unease as well as they say that. Like they're not really sure or confident.
I think there's a just a pinch of fear in Kim's eyes. It's totally up to you if you even see it. But Kim's scared. For you. Kim has gone through so much trouble, keep you in one piece, has thrown out so many people from Madame Ime's place. And we're finally coming up against something that Kim knows nothing about. Kim doesn't know how to protect you and sees now that Fanaa is readying their swords. And so all they can offer you is another squeeze of your elbow before they let go. Well, I suppose we should start preparations. 3 days can go by in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, I think that we should.
In the kitchen area, which I'm presuming is behind you somewhere, Amber, who has taken a little like mini bottle of mouthwash and has like swished and rinsed in the sink. I was just like, whew, okay. Like 2 seconds, I'm ready to get started. I'm feeling much better.
Oh, we're going right now?
Well, I guess we could sleep it off. Maybe we could sleep it off. Oh, you have to sleep it off. Sorry. It's day out there. You have to sleep. I'm so sorry. I hang around. Well, no one really, but if I do, it's usually wolves. So I forgot the whole day thing. Rest. I'll come by here maybe at sundown and we'll figure it out.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. Cool. Rad. She tosses her things back into her knapsack and will head out the door. Madame Ime, as Jabari does arrive, not because of a text message or a call, but because of a significant and specified howl outside on the street below, meant specifically for you.
Does he think I'm going to open the window? It is daylight out. And so I take out my phone and I quickly call him. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
So come inside.
Don't you need to sleep?
Yeah, at some point.
So sleep. We'll guard the place. We'll figure this shit out tomorrow morning. Night. You know.
Jabari, just come upstairs. I'm not going to sleep for a little bit.
Stubborn. All right.
Always.
He'll come up, but the wolves he brought with him do take their positions around the building in a protective stance, a guard stance.
Hello, darling.
You look lovely.
As do you. Been a bit of a rough night for all of us, I can say.
Yeah.
I think we might have a plan.
Please do tell.
I look to Fanaa. If you don't mind staying up just a little bit longer, dear.
Of course. And I think Fanaa is like keeping a little bit of distance from Jabari. Habit, really, not being used to just meeting a stranger and being able to trust them. And so I think a little bit of that anxiety kind of keeps them at arm's length from Jabari, but they do explain the entirety of the plan, turning to Amber to kind of fill in the gaps of Amber's side of the story and how they sort of came about.
Sure.
Landed on this conclusion.
Yeah. No, all right. That sounds tentative. Pretty good, I guess. Ime, where do you want us to come in?
You're gonna help us fight, darling. You're gonna help us. Because at the end of the day, they took pieces of both of our families.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. You know what? We're gonna make sure the daytime is locked down around here. But nighttime, till we know we're ready. If you don't mind, we're gonna go to the woods. We lost a few pups, so
Oh,
we need some time.
I understand. I can make a few calls if needed, so I can have a couple of my kind keep y'all safe during the night as well.
You're very sweet. Look, let's just focus, do what you need to do to prepare. I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure that my people are ready and healed in whatever way we can be. You said something about 3 days.
3 days.
Not exactly time for therapy, but we'll be there and we'll be there. We're going to get those sons of bitches back for real.
Indeed, we are. I will send some food for y'all, so you can take all the time you need, as much as you can, to just focus on healing. Kane will stop by later.
King. He's still
Beautiful,
know.
absolutely.
Yeah, so pretty. So pretty, that one. All right, well, I look forward to seeing him. That should numb the pain a little bit. Thanks for that. We'll be outside.
Sounds good.
Get some rest, please.
I will. Oh, and Jabari, I'll
Yeah.
make sure Kane wears that little harness you like.
Don't go saying that. All right.
I can make it happen.
I didn't say don't make it happen. I said, you don't need to talk about it. Okay. God.
All right, if you say so.
For someone who runs a club like the one you do, discretion, I think, would be a little more top priority for you. So, hush.
I won't say anything. And then at that point, like, Ime just sends a picture of Kane in like this very scantily clad uniform with like a harness and a little tie and a Speedo to Jabari's phone on his way out.
This is why I don't work for you. Your uniform policy. And he leaves the apartment. The daytime of Ime's place is secured. You have a general plan in place. And I would like to visit Enoch. Enoch, back home, what's the state of this apartment right now? I mean, Eleanor is packed essentially. What is
Yeah.
this like for you?
I think you come in seeing Enoch doing some packing as well. He promised to find a way for them to stay, but it's better to be ready for a worst case scenario.
Mhm.
So I think he's getting ready to pack as well. So it's the apartment I think is already pretty scarce from a
Mhm.
mixture of just not being exactly rich, but also this isn't the first thing they've had to move. This might be have been the longest place they stayed at, but moving around has been a thing they've had to do in the past. And he's always had that in the back of his mind. So it's not too different. It was already pretty scarcely decorated and furnished and everything, but he is packing up, and like pulling out boxes from underneath his bed that are all like from his past life, for lack of a better term, like
Mhm.
weaponry, gear, that has helped him in his times of needing to hunt or honestly just be a bouncer at some of the jobs he's worked at. And I think right now he's in his room again, his bedroom, at his desk, and I would like to roll for weaponry. I want to make exotic weaponry. Because
Yeah.
I'm going out to deal with this agent, but I'm also fully aware of this supernatural threat that, for all I know, could just happen. They gave us 3 days, but I've met one non-mortal who lies, who can't keep their word. I'm not going to risk that there's another.
Absolutely. What's the role for this? This is one of your specials, right?
Yes, yes. For me, it'll be, because I'm probably crafting this from bits and pieces I have collected. It's going to be intelligence and craft.
Please do.
And what I'm going to try and do is I pull out this almost like a trophy box
Mm-hmm.
beneath my bed, is useful parts from monsters I have slain.
I see
Like
what you're going
werewolf
for.
fangs
Mm-hmm.
or claws. Um,
Okay.
yeah, just stuff like that. Vampire fangs probably even in there somewhere. Just a bunch of stuff from creatures that I've um, killed and know that could be useful in
Okay.
some situation.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for telling me that. Please make the roll. Let's see what we can get you.
Um, I would like to use my desperation die pool.
Go for it, please.
So what's the pool right now?
It is at 2 now.
2. Okay. So I rolled up that separately, but okay. These- Oh, okay. I'm going to use willpower.
Okay.
Um, with willpower, how many can I re-roll? Is it 3?
Up to 3, yeah.
Up to 3. Okay, I'm gonna re-roll 3. So I need to get at least one more success. Yep. 2 successes. So that's 5 successes.
Okay.
Um, am I gonna? I mean, I already called it. I want to risk the desperation die with 2 desperation die.
Okay.
Okay, no successes, but I don't roll a 1 on any of the desperation die either. So I succeed. I rolled 5 successes,
Okay.
which means I'm able to make enough weapons for myself and one other person. So I guess you can describe what those are if you want.
I would love to. So Enoch, you can cobble from the things that you have around you, that you've collected. You can create 2 very uh, specifically targeted weaponry. You can create one gun that has the effect of draining life in its bullets, meaning it will sap things that it hits of vitae. You can also create a crossbow that fires stakes. Those stakes are not wooden, they are silvered.
Before the bullets, I think where it ends up being is because Vitae specifically. I think it's like I have vampire fangs. I probably have many vampire fangs
Yes.
stored away,
Yeah.
and I pull
Yeah.
out a couple clips of my pistol and get these vampire fangs and essentially grind them into a dust and have it be like a coating on some of these bullets. So the
Yeah.
bullets themselves are kind of still useless if it's not immortal, but with the effects of the fangs, we can deal quote unquote supernatural damage. Getting that into the system is what deals the vitae sapping effect. And with a crossbow, I just have silver lying around. I think that's like one of the mainstays of most hunters.
Absolutely, it is.
So I have that prepared. So I have my pistol. Once that's set up, um, I think that probably takes a while, like a couple of hours to create all of this. As you can see, you just see the cameras outside of the door of his bedroom. You can just hear the sounds of like bone essentially being ground into dust, and the sound of maybe something like a blowtorch as he melts this silver over these stakes as he prepares for what could potentially come as he hunts down Amaya.
Most of the day, to work on these items, you had given Eleanor, your promise that you would at least try to make it work here, but not wanting to take any chances, she is, you know, spending a lot of time out with her friends and potential crush to make sure that she gets that time. Her location is being shared with you on your phone, which you, I'm sure, have nearby, occasionally getting a ping from her. She can tell you're worried, so she is checking in frequently, diligently, just giving you a really quick thumbs up text message every so often. But about when you uh, take a break, having mostly finished this weaponry, there is a call not to your cell phone, but to the door.
I pause for a moment because Eleanor hasn't told me that they're on their way back home yet.
Mm-mm.
And for the most part, Enoch doesn't Enoch doesn't really have friends. So he has no one to really visit
Shocked,
him.
shocked, shocked. Mhm.
So there's no one to really visit him. So there's a moment of confusion as to why someone's at the door at the moment. But he will put away the the crossbow, and holster his pistol and still have that kept at his side. Um, and then we'll walk towards the door and just yell, "Yeah, who is it?"
Over the intercom, you hear, uh, "There's a visitor for you."
A visitor. Did they give you a name? I'm not expecting anyone right now.
Uh, no name. Just kind of rolled up outside and is well, asking for you to come down.
Yeah, I'll be there in a bit. and without a doubt, he's incredibly suspicious. Um, Given no name, and even the person at the reception isn't entirely sure of this person, at least from the sound of it. But they will grab a jacket and put it over and wear it so it at the very least conceals their holstered pistol, and will. I think they have their knife strapped to their thigh anyway, so yeah, they'll walk down to the lobby and see who it is.
Down in the lobby. The time you get there, cameras disabled. At the desk, you see this like station where security is normally at. The doorman is usually seated with the security cameras laid out in front, and all of them, with the exception of the one outside that faces your apartment, are grayed. There is no one there. No doorman there.
I immediately unholster my pistol and have it at the ready now. Very much switch from the worried dad that was checking his phone every 5 minutes to Enoch the hunter as he has it raised and is rounding the corners, pistol first before he comes out afterwards.
Make me a wits and insight, please.
Well, it's okay. Wits and insight. I'm not very insightful or witty, apparently. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it.
I believe.
One success.
One success. This is a stunning situation, and also you're quite frazzled. To begin with, the only thing that you do get is that the door that is usually an automatic spiraling door, is still. If you walk up to it, you can still push it open and it will go, but it is normally on like a constant rotation.
Do I see any signs of people once being here? Like, I'll go where the security cameras are, check if there's like cup of coffee left around, a seat pulled out
Oh,
from beneath the table, like stuff like that.
that absolutely. I mean, the cup of coffee, I mean, it's your usual doorman's mug. You even recognize it. He's here for the 12-hour day shift, and his coffee mug is pretty distinct.
The person who called me down, the receptionist, they're not, there's no signs of them either.
It would be this doorman. It was definitely his
With the
voice,
doorman.
and he's not here.
Oh. He's going to text Eleanor again quickly, just hey, how's everything going? Are you with your crush right now? Just trying to play it like a still obviously worried dad, but a cool worried dad.
Yeah. She texts back a picture of her and a group of friends in the lobby of a movie theater, not terribly too far away.
I know. I make a mental note of the one that she's standing next to. I'm like, that's probably the guy. I'm gonna keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, I'm going to go to the security room where the cameras are, where they've all been grayed out except for the one facing my apartment. You said, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I want to see if I can figure out a way to undo the scrambling of the. First, I want to see if it is software or hardware related, and if it's
Yeah.
software, I want to see if I can undo the scrambling.
Absolutely. Intelligence technology, if you would please.
Yes, I can. 4 successes.
Excellent. It takes you a minute. This is not quite your wheelhouse. This is actually, it's kind of a reverse problem. This is lower tech than what you are probably used to at the agency. Um, but eventually, you click your way through it. You are able to reestablish these cameras one by one. As they click on, the ones that do, most of them not showing anything particularly interesting as they click on. One, final one that shows just at the corner of the building. That is when you see the familiar face from the image that you received before of this person who has been staking out your apartment in that spot that was visible. You see them leave down the corner, hop into a car. You see it's sort of a grayed camera, but there is splatter on their hand, and you see them wipe it off nonchalant as they hop into the car and begin to take off down the road. Only about a block away.
Block away. Enoch is going to. God, there's nothing he can do about this place or the doorman. He's going to try and see if he can move fast enough to follow this agent. They're going to try to get to their bike and track down where they're going in their car.
Absolutely. I'm gonna assume that you're kind of, as soon as you are seeing this, you're kind of making this decision to
Yeah, moving
sprint
quickly.
off.
Drak took a while, but I think Enoch is
No,
moving.
I'm
pretty
giving.
quickly.
I'm absolutely sure of who Enoch is here, and sees this and runs. I do want you to give me a dexterity and athletics to sprint as fast as you can.
Yeah, I can do that. 6 successes.
Fantastic. You are, again, this is a human. This is a strong human, a intelligent one, a powerful one, a connected one, but still a human. They are flawed in many ways, and you are well trained as well. And you are booking it, and you are fueled by more than just a curiosity. This person has been potentially threatening your home, your loved one, your location. You are easily able to catch up enough to get a glimpse of the license plate on the car as it pulls off into the road. You would not be able to catch this car on foot. You would not be able to really get into a car and maneuver the streets of New York City in an ability to chase it. But you see the license plate clearly. You see the direction it's headed in clearly. And you are able to make the connect here. It's just going to take some digging to figure out where to go next.
Enoch will Enoch's biggest worry, I think, right now is Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's tried as much as he could not to be that parent. But I think
Mm-hmm.
especially now where the threat is quite literally life and death, and it's what he's just witnessed. Um, and from as far as he can tell, and I think he is going to go check to look around the corner, but he's assuming that this agent has killed the doorman
Yeah.
of our apartment. So if they're willing to kill someone who quite literally has very little to nothing to do with them, he's not sure, and he'd rather not think about what they're willing to do to Eleanor. So I think with the picture of Eleanor knowing where they are right now, he's gonna like kind of just like helicopter around that place, like try to stay outside of Eleanor, but still have Eleanor within his sight.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and
Okay.
keeping an eye out for that license plate.
To say that the rest of the day for Eleanor goes normal. She does not suspect that she is being hovered over. She enjoys her not date because it is a group hang.
Yeah,
It is an
yeah, that's
absolute
what I
group
called it
hang.
when I was a kid. Yeah,
Uh-huh. But she enjoys the company of that group hang, and comes home. I will say that you're able to get home just in time to make it seem like you were there the whole time. It's no big deal. Around the time that nightfall is happening, from here, we all have plans in place. We want to enact them, and we have 3 days. We're going to come back with a bit of a time skip, but if it's okay with everybody, I would like to take our break a few minutes early so that we can uh, make our cheeky little rolls, see what we cheeky little find, and then come back and execute it all for you. Um, so to our lovely producer, if we could do a little early break, that would be lovely. And we will see you back in about 10-ish minutes
10 minutes.
so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Welcome back. We are going to jump right back in. You were prepared to start this 3-day journey. You have 3 days until they return to get you. There's a clear plan in place, although for many of you, you don't know what Enoch's plan is. But the rest of you have been in this together. Auguste, you were left in that library, given your own devices. You were given free reign with the, of course, threat to not mess anything up in here or leave anything untoward. When you look through this book, the book that was handed to you was a personal diary, but the rest of the library is also there and available to you. I would like for you um to make a intelligence and investigation roll.
You have given me life with my latest asset.
Mhm.
Fish. Oh wow! Rolled absolutely dog shit. That'll be a. You know what? It is a 4. I am going to use a well.
Good.
Ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba.
Okay.
Okay, I believe do those 2 crits now make it a crit? So it is now 6 successes, even though 1 was on the willpower roll, and oh yeah, because it's a
Yeah.
reroll, right?
Yep. It's
Okay,
a
so
reroll.
that's 6 then altogether, I believe.
Excellent. Can you also make me a charisma investigation roll separately?
7. A charisma investigation, sure. That's 5.
Okay. Let's start with that because you had the diary in your hands first. Ime, tell me one personal thing about you, about your past, that Auguste learns from reading your diary.
I think it would be the night after she returns from her first battle. And in it, she is describing the women that she has lost. And there are tears that stain the page, and some of the ink is muddied from where they hit. And it is very much an inner conflict of, I know that I'm supposed to do this because it is what I was trained to do, but I cannot wash my hands enough to rid it of the blood. I am supposed to be a warrior. Yet I feel my heart breaking with the gasps and screams of my fallen enemy. I can only hope that Yahweh is ushering them gracefully into the afterlife where they can be judged. And I hope that Mawu Lisa looks down upon me and smiles so that I may live another day without regret.
That is what you get from Ime's journal. That is what sticks out to you. In your research in the rest of the library, searching for information about these potential ghostwriters and hounds and scouts, whatever you can find, it seems like in different books that you pick up, you can see that there are mentions of them in the oldest texts in here. Nothing newer than like the last couple of 100 years even mentions them at all. But the oldest texts do. And what you find is that primarily they come to relieve the living of their burden. It is almost always referred to in these old texts as a good thing, as a blessing, even.
Are these texts, are they religious in any way? Because of the blessing and the relief, are they considered like holy texts, or are these simply the thoughts of people?
Some have a spiritual bend. Others are reporting this as just what people felt, believed, observed.
Whilst reading specifically this takeaway,
Mm-hmm.
I think they feel another buzz on their phone, and they check it, and it's their contact from the IAO sending
Mhm.
like a follow-up since Auguste never responded to the first one since they were right outside of the club.
Yeah.
And he, knowing that he probably can't take anything out of here, will try to relay the basic information to memory. Who is the leader of the IAO? The IAO, yeah.
There is a person who is, to you, the leader. Certainly not the head. You've never met the head. You nor Enoch have never met the head. But in your district, Samson is the current person in charge, the overseer of this region.
Will text very formally. A very serious situation has come up. I need to speak to Samson immediately. I will be by in 40 minutes.
You get a text back that says received.
Walking outside the library with Ime's journal in hand. Will, I imagine Ime's still here?
Mm-hmm.
Walks up to her with the journal.
Oh no, she's sleeping, honey. She is in her coffin.
Okay. In that case, places the journal, like, I think, walks into the room with Ime in her coffin and is like, this was yesterday. This would be it. This is the chance. And stays there far too long, working in his mind the perfect story. Doesn't even need a story. Can do this and leave. And then puts the journal on a nearby stool. And writes on a piece of paper. I know you will fight, but if you do not fight for humans, fight for her. And then leaves that note on the journal. Her with the context of Auguste still believes that Ime now and Ime, Madame Ime and Ime in this journal are two separate people. And will go toward the IAO.
Good. Enoch, back at your apartment. I would like for you to make me also a intelligence and investigation to follow up on the license plate that you just procured, the evidence that you just saw.
2 successes.
How many?
2.
2? This person matching it with the image that you saw before outside your apartment. The car is the same make and model. It is confirmed for you. You are also able to find that every day it goes back to the IAO headquarters that you used to work at. at the end of each day. That is as much as you're able to find. It takes you so long, in fact, that searching for this information has kind of lost you to time. You spend the rest of this day searching for this information, and come like the late afternoon when you step out of your office with this information in hand, you see Eleanor at the island in your kitchen, sat, hovered over her phone, a piece of toast, and a steak made of silver. She looks up when you enter the room.
He's kind of stepped out. I don't really think he was aware that Eleanor had come back this day. I
Mm-hmm.
think he still assumed that she was out with friends. So he kind of walks out, running his hands through his hair in a bit of annoyance and frustration, and I think a little bit of anxiety and fear at this fact that this agent Amaya has been going back and forth from the IAO, because that makes a lot more people to deal with. Um, and then he kind of steps out and freezes as he sees first Eleanor and then the silvered steak. Where did you find that?
Want to go get the switch that you've been, hoarding in your backpack for the last 24 hours. I thought maybe I could have a turn practicing, even things up, even score. Don't make me say what I think this is, because if I say it, then, because that's not real. So you need to tell me.
In that moment, I think Enoch seems more scared than he's ever seemed in his entire life, career. In a moment, he doesn't know what to say or do. And I think he honestly just stares in silence because he's not entirely sure what to say.
Pops, I'm being so serious. I'm not going to say what this is. I know what it looks like. But I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to say that the plot of Supernatural is real here in this kitchen. So you're going to tell me what I'm looking at.
I think even Enoch kind of laughs at that. There's no way he doesn't laugh at that. He kind of there's a smile that spreads across his face of like that. I'm so confused, but also that was a wild sentence that just came out of my daughter's mouth, and they will, with that still kind of mixture of amused and puzzled on their face, they'll sit down and say, I was never much of a fan of Supernatural. It wasn't very realistic.
And you would know that because of what exactly?
I think that smile kind of fades. It gets more serious again. That is a silvered steak.
That you have because
There is a vampire and werewolf problem in New York, and to be frank, most of the United States.
knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. You are too cool to be like just some advisor and some financier doing like, normal you you know how you just know things sometimes, but it's not. I'm sorry. I would like more information, please. Are you is this what we're running from? Is this real?
Again, a moment of silence as I think he just doesn't make eye contact with Eleanor. He's just staring down at the steak at the table. I think in his head is just berating himself for being so careless before nodding. Yes. Yes, the people we're running from aren't. They're not the vampires and werewolves and ghosts and other things I've had to deal with. Honestly, depending on who you ask, they're a bit more terrifying. But I used to work for an agency who would do this, and they'll gesture to the steak. And you remember years ago, you were kidnapped.
Kind of remember it.
Yes, the people who kidnapped you weren't really people. If I and the rest of the squad hadn't come, you would have been. And again, gestures to the steak.
Yeah. So they were monsters.
Yes. And the agency had originally been there to save some political figures who had also been caught up in that kidnapping. But after finding out how wrong our intel was on the numbers of monsters, of blank bodies in there, sorry, of vampires in there.
God, vampires. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yes, after finding out how many there were in there and how off our intel was, the agency found it would be better to cut their loss and take out everyone in there, alive and unalive included. But I managed to escape with you. I couldn't get anyone else. You know that part of the story, but the reason we've been moving and on the run constantly is because you're and I am a loose end that they're trying to tie up.
So the people who hunt the monsters are also monsters. I get that. Okay. Yeah. That's I didn't really think it would be this close to the the fan fiction that I write, but okay.
You write fan fiction about?
We're gonna. You're a secret monster hunter, so we're not gonna talk about me
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
All right. I get it. I get it. You I'm gonna try to be cool right now because I know that you've kept me safe for like as long as I can remember. Are are we gonna You said we could stay. Is that because we're gonna fight him?
He leans back and kind of rubs his eyes as he's got that stress of Eleanor finding out and now also the knowledge of what's been going on with the agents. I don't know. I think I know even less than I did before.
Can
Originally,
I can if we gotta.
wait, are you suggesting you're going to fight?
Well, I mean, we're in this together, right?
Eleanor, I love you.
I love you too.
No.
Okay.
I've been through years of military grade training. And even then, I'm coming out of fights barely in one piece. You're still in school.
So what do you want me to do?
Enjoy being in school. I'm going to do what I can to see if we can stay here. But I want to be honest with you, Eleanor. I don't know if we can. The reason we were running in the first place was I learned that one of the agents of the agency had found us. They were watching us, had been watching us for a while now. And I hoped that they hadn't reported to anyone yet. But I just found out that they've been reporting, or at least going back to the agency on a regular basis. So it's no longer one person I have to. It's a whole, possibly a whole agency.
Okay. I guess. And she like loosens her grip on the silver stake. She had tightened it for a moment. I guess I can, I can go sleep at Maria's. You know.
When we were in, I have someone who can keep an eye out. You won't even see them, but I'll have someone keep an eye on Maria's place as well while you're there.
Okay. But if you need any help, since this is all real and everything, like I do, I'm not saying that I'm an expert, but like, I read a lot. You can text me.
Name one thing you know about vampires.
Oh, they hate the sun.
Okay.
I'm right.
Not all of them. No, some of them are day walkers. They can walk fine in the sun without any issue. Some of them are thin bloods, so aren't full vampires, and they can also walk the day without much issue. With that knowledge, you are already dead twice over.
Good to know. Okay. I will keep my phone location on. She comes around the other side of the kitchen island and hugs around your waist, and this makes a lot more sense. I get it, but maybe don't lie to me anymore, okay? I still love you.
Squeeze her tight and kiss her on the top of the forehead. I'll be entirely honest with you. I'm not gonna make any promises, but I won't lie to you about where I'm going when it's this business.
All right, if you're gonna keep lying to me, give me the switch back.
Yeah, I actually never got to actually play it, so I'm going to be practicing after we deal with whatever's happening the next couple of days. Did you find it in my bag? It's either in my bag or I might have left it in my room.
Yeah, thanks. And she snatches it, and she kind of like has a little bit of a heavy sigh about her, but she gathers her things. She leaves. She pings you with her location on again, and heads out, making some excuse to her friends that, yeah, her apartment's being renovated and she needs a place to stay for a couple of days.
And I would like to use an advantage I have.
Oh, please
Uh,
tell me about it.
Contacts.
Yes,
I have it at level 3.
good.
One contact he can do or get something expensive or hard for you, resource 4, basically the equivalent of resource 4, which is either a security system expert or an organization strike team marksman, narcotics agent, or other useful fields. I want to contact a strike team marksman. Possibly someone who I've worked with either in New York or near New York, because I have bounced around before, and I want to give them the location of Maria's place and just say, keep an eye out for Eleanor.
They absolutely do. There's no question about it. They jump at your request. And they also have location sharing on for you. You're able to kind of monitor those things for you.
And I think it's very much the case of if anything happens to her, you will experience something worse than death.
That is received. Fanaa, when night falls the next night, Amber is ready at the door, waiting, and the two of you are ready to experiment with this test drive of combining your skills out on the streets. She is able to locate just scent wise where some hounds have scattered. They're no longer all conglomerating in one place, but she's able to track one down every so often. In this kind of collaboration of things, I would love for you to make me a wits occult roll. She's
Ooh.
going to be doing something different. And we're gonna see how your powers combine here. Unless you have something different you want to do.
I was going to say, I think the way that Fanaa tries to study essentially these hounds and how everything happens with Amber is that they are going to allow Amber to hunt them. And then when Amber is attacking them and trying to do it again to go into the other spot, Fanaa is going to be, I think, somewhere quote unquote safe, but close enough.
Yes.
And is going to use share the senses to tap into Amber's senses to be able to experience everything for themselves in real time.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's see.
So I'm going to do a rouse check to double check about
Right.
that. I fail it. I'm at 3 hunger. And I will do a resolve aspects roll real quick. That is 7 successes for share the senses.
Spectacular. The very first time that you two do this, Amber is visibly scared. She starts to shift, is stuck in that hybrid form for half of a moment, and looks back to you and your position around the corner hiding. she takes a leap and onto this hound, grasps at its neck when it is still in the physical world, but doesn't get through. The second time, she gets a little further. The third time that she hunts one of these things down, she fully crosses over. And this time, when she crosses over, you are not seeing through her eyes. You are there with her on the other side. You see, feel, hear everything around the two of you, the like burning and chaos of the rumbling, the sounds of these hounds in the distance is thunderous where you are. And you see her tackle into this hound in this other side space. She's tearing into its throat, and then she pauses, wolf form and all, to look up at you and goes, what now?
And I think Fanaa was surprised, first of all, still reeling from the fact that they are here, that they are on the other side. They were not expecting to actually be there. They thought that they would just remote view through Amber's senses. And I think they're freaking out just a little bit about that. And so when Amber asks them for help, they kind of, I think, are looking around and they kind of snap to their myriad of scaleras, all focusing in on Amber, and then start to dissipate all around. And they say, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. And Fanaa is going to use Sense the Unseen to try and attune themselves into this dimension and to see past whatever it is that is cloaking or hiding this area, to try and see something a little bit beyond, try to unpeel a layer of the onion, so to speak, to help gain a little bit more information as to what exactly is happening here.
Yes. You see, as Amber digs her muzzle back into this hound, as you said she should, the distortion of this world becomes less fuzzy and clear. This is still New York City. It is just a different plane of existence. It is still here. You're still on the very street corner that you were. You are in this state, linked to Amber's senses, and Amber is fully here. There is, you are with her because of this link that you've intentionally made. And you could repeat this.
And I think with that information, Fanaa kind of like has this light bulb moment, realizing that if they are able to cross over into another person's senses, into their mind, that if we could all link ourselves together, that perhaps we could all travel at the same time. And they, I think, call out to Amber as they realize this, and they tell her, "If you're done, let's go."
Okay. And she finishes with a yank of the throat fully out of this hound's neck, and she shifts back, and all of a sudden you're back on the normal street corner.
And I think Fanaa, being separated from Amber physically on the street corner, is going to come back into their senses and run over towards Amber. And I think they, without thinking, like grab her around the waist and like pull her up into a hug. We can do this. We can do this.
Okay. I need like 4 breaks before
Right.
we do that again. But okay.
Sorry. Right.
Yeah. No.
And they put her down.
We can do it. We can do it. Okay. Good. We can do it.
We can do it. I think I know how to bring everyone else with us.
Ah, good. Good. Great.
We still need you though.
Well, I'll be there. Of course. Where else would I be? And there's like she like shifts back into human in your arms, and like the blood splatter around her goofy smile remains as her muzzle dissipates back into a human mouth. Um Great.
Come on, let's get you some rest. And Fanaa takes Amber by the hand and I think like pulls her towards Madame Ime's. I assume this was done like relatively in
It's
the
over
vicinity.
the course. Yeah.
And so Fanaa takes Amber to Madame Ime's, like to the apartments, to allow Amber to rest for however long we have left, because I think for our part, I think we figured it out.
There's one thing that we need to do before the 3 days is up as well. Stella, you had Kim go to the church to do some investigating.
Yes.
If you have something else in mind, let me know. But for me, I would love for you to do a intelligence occult roll.
Okay. That makes perfect sense to me. Essentially, Kim does have a touchstone at a local church of Father Carlos, and will try to seek information either in archives or find a weapon or armor, literally anything that can just try to help us.
Okay.
Said occult and intelligence.
Yes.
That is 3 success. Nope. Yet. One
just one.
success.
Yeah.
You can re-roll those 3 dice if you want.
Yeah.
Also
yeah.
offer you, if you wanted to get a different spin on this information, you could replace the intelligence with charisma.
Oh.
Still occult.
Okay. I would love to do that. I would love to apply the spin of Kim is cashing in favors.
Yes. Good.
This is the same exact roll. Can I do a willpower roll on this second one?
Please do.
Oh, it just wasn't meant to be. I have 0 successes on that reroll. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that is just 1 success.
1 success. With
Yes.
1 success at this church, Father basically reveals to you a lot of confusing information. There are spirits, ghosts, maybe voices that Father has heard over the years that maybe have mentioned things like this, but they all have different stories, and they're all deeply personal experiences with them, and they're all old experiences. And so you know that this is the thing that you do take away is that this has happened before, that people have definitely lost their lives to it, because there is a connection here. How they survived is unclear, with the exception that all of them say that someone came and saved them.
I hate that. That's so. Oh, that's beautiful. Kim is frustrated, visibly irritated at Father Carlos, and they are trying to show great restraint here as this information just doesn't really come to any kind of fruitful end. Without much of a goodbye, will bow their head to the father and just leave without a goodbye, without any kind of real indication of what she's going to do with this information. But as she's leaving the church, there is a moment where she'll stop by one of her offices. There's like a small corner that she has here in the church, and she is going to pull out a rusty teal tin box, and it has a number of like just really basic supplies, but there's also a few very old photographs in them, and they each show a young Korean woman wearing a nurse outfit, and she appears to be standing in front of tent. There seems to be some kind of conflict going on in the background, but it's uncertain. She simply closes it shut and goes back to the club.
Auguste, you made your way to the IO. On your way in, there are a few visitors today. Employees, agents, etc. On the way in, it's very heavily secured. The person in front of you is wanded with a security device. There is a gentle hum as it waves over them. They pass through. The guy waving you in recognizes you. Didn't think I'd see you here again. And starts to wave the wand over you. As it passes over your chest, the gentle hum goes. Sorry. Not today.
I believe you are mistaken. Today it must be.
I don't have a problem with you, but we can't let you in here like that.
I am being awaited upon. Time is very yes.
Yeah, I know. But no one comes in with. No one comes in the agency with a super on them. That's not happening.
You are mistaken.
I'm not. The tech doesn't lie. I'm sorry. You're not coming in.
flicks open his phone and texts his contact and says Samson has to meet me out here.
Samson does come outside. Two people on either side. Man, woman, both heavily armored. Sorry, we thought maybe you were bringing your friends in. But you can't come in here like that. Not anymore.
I have worked here for over 20 years now. What I need to tell you is of world-defining importance.
I would like for you to make me either a charisma or manipulation, whichever you feel like you're going with this, and persuasion.
Okay. I have nothing in persuasion, so this is simply a manipulation. Of 3, though.
Okay.
It's okay.
That is okay. Auguste. I appreciate the information that you are bringing to us. But and he takes the wand out of the security's hand and waves it again to do the across your chest. We need to have stricter policies here, and you are no longer useful to us. Not useful enough to let wraiths into the building. You are going to have to deal with that before we ever let you in here again.
For people who can almost read emotions, which I don't think there is anyone here who can, there is a sound of like a violin string snapping. Of course. Thank you for your time. And Auguste turns and walks out this very light, again, violin as he begins to walk away and has like already made up his mind about something. Auguste goes immediately back to the club, hoping he was to use the IAO's library, but now will resettle back for Madame Ime's. I would just like just to close out. Actually, this might not even be in Madame Ime's library, but Auguste would like to use. So I have three ticks in respected in this community. Auguste is going to try and get a hold of like ancient tomes or texts or something, some way of now that he is thinking that this is a religious thing, that there might be a way to magically trap or have some sort of something to, like, what is the leader of this group and how can we trap it or stop and kill it? And August is like putting out feelers for people to see if anyone can help him.
Madame Ime, your contacts, can you just give me a little bit of a just charisma persuasion for me, please?
Yes. Okay, hold on. That's the wrong one. That is 5 successes.
Okay. Madame Ime, you have people in many different corners. And over the next 3 days, people begin to arrive from afar. Over that time, vampires each day provided by Madame Ime and the club, you are fed. You are able to regain your vitae. Hunters, you get your rest. You regain your willpowers. On the third day, everything seems weirdly normal until nightfall. When nightfall begins, even at the most base introduction of dusk, as soon as light begins to dissipate from the sky, that gray comes back. That quiet comes back briefly before the thunderous hooves and gnawing and growling comes back in full force. The first people to arrive in the city, the hounds, the scouts, they are looking for you. Fanaa, I think there was a plan for you to possibly be bait. Where would we find Fanaa in this scenario?
Fanaa would have been speaking to Auguste about this part of the plan, that nobody else is supposed to know about. And so Fanaa would have, I think, coordinated with Auguste to figure out a place that he believes is tactical, a place that will allow him to have a good vantage point or a good place overlooking the scene to do what he needs to do. So I think, Auguste, where would you have picked?
It would probably be a place that has a lot of, like, easy we can see from high ground, and there can be, like, far more of us hidden away. Vampires have no trouble traveling, of course. So it might very well be, like, in the middle of a street. So we have the buildings for people who are waiting up there, and then hunters can be closer to the ground, and alleyways for wolves to jump. We might have barricaded some as much as we can, even though we know that it doesn't really work, but put up some basic defenses to block off alleyways so no one can randomly walk down them.
I think Fanaa insisted on picking a street that they know is not that well trafficked, by people so that we can avoid, any potential casualties and whatnot. So definitely not anywhere near Ime's club. That has too many people there at all times. So I think going somewhere a little bit further out. And so they, at this moment, if we're doing this now, are standing in the middle of this street, in the middle of the night, waiting, I guess. I think their eyes are kind of darting all over the place and they keep going back, keep looking back to where they know that Auguste is waiting or Auguste is hiding. And they're not quite sure whether Auguste has invited, Enoch to come and like the other hunters or not, but they know that eventually the others in the group will arrive and they're just hoping that we can get as much of this going as possible before Kim and Madame Ime show up.
Amber is so ready, so nervous, so ready as the clawing comes rolling in. Everyone, where they are, does hear and sense this. But where you are, Fanaa, and where you are, Auguste, is where it is loudest. Because they come searching for you, and Fanaa, you are the one that they find first with intent. The hounds roll in, the scouts right behind them, and they stop right before you. The scout that you met 3 nights ago. You were not who we asked to join.
You'll meet the others eventually.
You're out here in the open. They'll find you first. Do you want to die?
I'll be okay.
If your friends want to join, they have moments. And the shade sort of cloaks himself, and the hounds start to scatter. He starts to dissipate. They all starts to like roam through the city. And the crack of gates and wheels and cracking on this street starts to come towards you in a sound louder than the thunder, louder than anything you've ever heard. As you see down this alleyway, the ghost riders do start to appear. They are a flame, a black flame that rides on top of something like the hounds, but without legs. They just sort of drift. There is a scratching onto the pavement, but there are no claws to be making this sound. They barrel towards you at the speed of light. They are intermittently dashing into buildings. A scream will happen, and then it is over. They are back on the street. A holler, the crash of plates, and then they will be back again. They're headed right towards you. They start to get close, and you see out of the corner of your eye Amber ready to dash.
Fanaa's eyes follow each of the hounds all at once, each sclera picking a different one and following, and they look up with more than one of them up towards where Auguste is, and I think they try to scan and they try to see, has Auguste brought others with him? Is it just him? Is Enoch here? Any of the other hunters?
So far, no. Enoch, you have been tracking this person who has been stalking your family. This is nearby the location where they park every night. This is not far from the IAO.
Do I? Is it on? I'm assuming the other side, the invisible. Do I see them? Like, have I been?
You do not. You see Fanaa. You see you could probably spot Auguste if you take your time to look to the rooftops. But you definitely see Fanaa.
And I've been tailing this agent.
Mm-hmm. Their car is parked nearby. They're here.
There's a moment of hesitation as he stares at this car. This person who has jeopardized the happy life he had finally convinced himself that he could have here in New York, and that has been dashed to a dream that he's very violently been woken up from. But he also remembers the terror and carnage that these Ghost Riders brought. And at the end of the day, even if he did deal with this agent, he still has a whole agency that he still needs to run from. Whereas these things, these shades, these Ghost Riders, I can't run from that. We can't run from that. There'd be no way for me to live a life that I can call happy, no way for Eleanor to live a life that she can call happy while running from that thing as it goes across what he can only assume is the rest of the world after here.
Hmm.
So he grits his teeth and is going to head towards where you can see Fanaa. And I think while he's running, he's going to be texting Auguste. Because I think he does this in such a split second. He doesn't like wait to look for Auguste. So as he's moving, he's going to be texting Auguste, and he just says, "Location?" question mark.
Do you share?
Yeah. Like it was like already open, ready to for Enoch, and then as soon as Enoch texts, it's like almost an instantaneous like.
For Madame Ime, you have crowds of people ready to go. The thing is that the club does not seem to be the point of interest at this time.
Yeah. I open my armory again, and at that point, I have changed into that old garb with the shells and the tattered and blood-stained uniform. And I have taken my spear and I look at Kane and I I don't even feel. There's no emotion until I get right in front of him. And I say, you have to stay behind. If anything happens to me, you are the one who knows everything. Carry on my legacy should I leave.
He doesn't say anything. Just nods.
I love you, darling. I always have. And as she says that, there is a small pot of white paint that she starts to just throw onto her face in this very tribal way. And she stands tall and she looks at the room. We move now. And she leads all of them out. Vampires, werewolves, humans, all of them.
Kim among them, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kim is probably right next to me.
Yeah, if there's any sign of dissonance or anyone hesitating, Kim gets in their face, grabs them
No
by the collar.
one dares. No one dares for that reason. Fanaa, Auguste, you both see this first. They arrive. These ghastly shades who have taken out already so many in the blink of an eye. But the focus, the target, the thing leading them does seem to be Fanaa. Their location is the center of where they are headed. Amber looks to Fanaa, gives the look that you two have been practicing as she jumps and leaps. This time not onto a hound, but onto one of these beasts that the Ghost Riders are atop. Auguste, you have a moment to react. Auguste and Fanaa have the ability to make an action right now.
Was Auguste able to get any form of like magic ritual trickery, or was it too soon and they weren't able to set?
No magic ritual trickery, but Enoch, you made 2 weapons. I am taking the assumption that one of them was meant for Auguste. Which one was it?
Oh no! I mean,
no, it's grand.
Enoch and August went left on very different terms. Now I don't know. Enoch is always going to go for the pistol. So if he's able to get there on time to give the
The straight crossbow.
crossbows, yeah, he would definitely hand it over.
Okay.
The action I get is my edge sense the unnatural because I can't actually see these creatures still.
You cannot.
So August will, through all of these readings, possibly there was some form of like sketch someone had made in like the image of one of these things, like they gained the ability to see through whatever means, and August is trying to channel that. I think that was the majority of August's research, like not only how to kill like the lead one, but also how to see them. How can humans see these creatures? And is going to try to use that to sense the unnatural. So that's the
Go
action.
for it.
Okie dokie. Sense the
While August
Yeah.
is doing that, Fanaa's one action that they get in response to Amber leaping and bounding is that they are going to activate share the senses with Amber.
Yeah.
In order to see through her, which is step one of starting to get to push through into this creature, into the invisible, into the other plane. And I think while Fanaa is doing that, they are, as per the plan, steadfast in their position, shaking with anxiety through it all. This is taking every ounce
Yes.
of their resolve that they possibly have in order to stay here and not run, because they are fighting every instinct in their body, but they stand. And I think perhaps, if it's okay, what happens is that while Enoch is going, what Enoch sees is Fanaa being attacked by something that you can't see, as the hounds make their way to Fanaa and they don't fight back.
Yes.
Interesting.
What do you get, Matt?
I got a 7.
7
believe.
successes. And so, yes, you are able to see. It's sort of like, you know how smoke like over a barbecue like distorts the air, like the heat kind of creates those waves. That's what you're able to see suddenly. And very suddenly, all of it about to attack Fanaa, who is standing perfectly still.
Brilliant. As soon as he can see, he immediately opens fire.
Okay. Fantastic. Enoch, as you arrive, do you want to do anything? And I will have Auguste make me a dexterity and firearms.
So have I seen the effects of Fanaa being attacked, or has this not happened yet? Like, have they not pounced?
They're
and attacked
about
them?
to be. You have not seen them get attacked yet. Nothing has quite happened yet. You have another moment.
I mean, I can't see them. I don't have any ability to like see the unseen or anything like that. Sense the unseen. So I think all I do, I haven't been told about the plan either. I think I've noticed that the grey has come back. Was that only the vampires
Yes.
see the grey?
Nope, you see that too.
I see the grey. So I know that these things are around. So all I'm going to do is I think I know enough to be like, Fanaa is bait of some kind, and even if they're not, they're gonna unknowingly be. So they're gonna hold the pistol aimed around Fanaa, and just wait for any signs of something like a bite or a slash or something like that before firing. So I'm gonna hold my action, I guess, would be my action.
Matt, what did you get for that attack?
I believe I got 5. I believe 5 because I got 2 and then I re-rolled. One of the 2 was a crit, and then I got a 1 crit on the. So.
Perfect. You see like just a sort of waver, like in the air there. Around this time is when Ime, Kim, and the crowd that you've brought with you will be arriving around the corner, following the scent and the signs of these creatures, the sounds that you're following. You are not there in time to make the initial reaction, but you do see the young werewolf girl leap into this chaotic mess. As she does, Fanaa, just as before, her teeth land into physical flesh on the other side, and you are right there with her. This time, though, you can feel the tethers. You can see the other people. You can see Enoch and Auguste and Kim and Ime further down the road. You can see that they're there. There's a doorway open to you. You could let them in.
And I think Fanaa will try. And there's a moment where they think about it's no brainer to bring Kim and to bring Ime in. Honestly, it's really not even that much of a thought to bring Enoch in, but Auguste, who has refused up until now to be a part of this. I think they hesitate for just a moment as they sort of sink into this connection, into this mental link. And at the last minute, they pull Auguste in as well. And the way that I would like to do this is I would like to use telepathy in order to create a mental link between myself and the other four here. Technically, it's only supposed to be one person, but I'm going to ask that it be all four
It's
of
the
them. If I can.
100%, I love it.
Be kind to us, Dillin.
What is the first thing that these people hear when you make this link?
The first thing that they hear is whatever Amber is hearing, because my senses currently are connected to Amber's. So I think you hear probably the growling of Amber's like muzzle as she is tearing into this creature that is beneath her. You can hear the ragged breathing of her body, and you I think can also hear the gnashing of teeth. And that is probably a very jarring experience, I think, at first to suddenly be into.
You are all suddenly here in this gray, alternate, burning landscape of New York City on the same street that you were. These beasts in this plane look like ghostly hounds as big as horses, ridden by like monstrously like taller shades than the one you met in the club the other night. The shades carry scythes. They are ready to wield them, but there is one on the ground trapped underneath its steed, which is getting devoured by Amber.
I want to use my held action on fire at one of them. Once I'm pulled into this space, I think there's a moment of hesitation as I'm trying to refocus and figure out what has just happened and where I am. But seeing these creatures and I think recognizing at least that they're similar or the exact same as the scouts that I saw at Madame Ime's club, I'm going to fire immediately.
Dax firearms. Kim,
Let's
what are you
go.
going to do?
Oh, it's very simple what I'm doing. As soon as I'm pulled through, from the moment I was unable to heal people any longer, I became a weapon. And I see Amber tearing into one of these steeds, and immediately I go for the throat of the fallen rider. And I'm going to try to grab its throat and just tear it out.
Fantastic. Yeah, roll me a strength brawl.
I'd like to ask, what is my desperation die? Because I'm going all out on this.
You are
so I'm gonna
at
roll that.
Oh yes, my hunters, you are both at 3 now. Back up at 3.
3. Okay. Please. Oh, there's a 1 in there. It's so that is 9 successes with not 1 in there. So I think that's an overreach. So I just cannot use desperation die anymore.
Yeah, that is what that
Yeah.
is. But you were firing at was there a particular one or just you were firing?
I see that Amber has already knocked one down, so I'm going to fire
Fair enough.
again. at a. I think the next closest one to no, I'm gonna fire one that I see moving towards another building because I imagine I like get pulled in just enough to see like hear the
Yes.
screams from even in our world, and then being pulled into this side of it, seeing a rider coming out of those buildings. I'm gonna fire at one of them
Perfect.
trying to enter another.
Excellent. So you see now several are kind of falling. Kim, the one that you are on top of, has already been you know, incapacitated by having been fallen over by Amber, who is going to town here. Ime, what would you like to do?
I have already kind of commanded everybody to like just get in there and start like attacking some of the hounds. Like,
Yeah.
so they're going at it. And me, I am barefoot and I have bones around my neck. I am like very vicious in my pursuit, and I just run bounding towards one of the riders, and I am going to step on. Ideally, this is what's going on in my head. I'm stepping on the rider that is pinned underneath the hound, stepping on the hound, and just like taking my spear and like trying to slam it directly into the adjacent rider's head.
Okay, fantastic. Please make me a dexterity melee, please.
Okay. I have 4 successes.
Okay. They're going to take 3. And you see the spear kind of pierce them, and the shock is what really takes them, because this spear shouldn't be hitting them at all. They take it and are stunned. Your people spread out and are attacking. Auguste, are you still up on the roof? You're still up on the roof, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to do anything right now?
Now, we are in another dimension, correct?
Yes, you are.
Yep. Like it's New York, but it's on fire, flames.
Yeah,
It looks like
correct.
hell.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Fully attempting to not have a panic attack. Like aimed. Was like back in like on like our plane. As they were like looking and readying themselves, and they saw it, they like saw the outline of the creature. Had this small like, got to now, fires, and then everything like sets on fire and goes off around them, and is now, I think, he is fully going to try to keep it together, but is going to. There's no one like jumping at him, right?
Not at this current moment, no.
Yeah, is gonna try and grabs it. They actually grab at their chest for comfort. Is there an arm, like an arm at
There's
at
a
their...
hand that you grab, and it grips yours as well. You know it.
Yeah. That arm immediately stealing them, like, cocks the crossbow and loads it, and is going to fire back at the fire off at the creature, holding the hand of the hand that is wrapped around them.
Dexterity firearms, please. The Ghost Riders make several attacks simultaneously at this point. Specifically, they are going to attack Fanaa and Amber, who have been perceived as the biggest threats here. Fanaa, do you want to do anything except steal yourself at this moment? Because I know that you said you want to steal yourself, but I want to check in if you want to do anything else. Okay.
Now, is it a 6 or above, or it's 7 or above?
6 or above.
6 or above.
Mhm.
Perfect. I rolled my desperation and I got a 10, a 3, and a 6, which rules for me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes, I believe.
Yeah.
8 successes. 8.
Yeah. Fully a unimaginable being that you could not comprehend collapses to the ground. Just as that's happening, the one hound that Amber is tearing apart, that Kim is handling the rider of, the two of them also perish, completely dilapidate into this ichor that is strewn across this like pseudo New York City street. The rest of the riders turn, attack Fanaa and Amber. Both make if you would like to. Fanaa, you are stealing yourself. If you want to stay completely still, you can. But if you'd like to move out of the way, a dexterity athletics to avoid the hit. Otherwise, take 3 damage.
Can I offer you counter offer a resolve composure roll to see if I even can stay still?
Ooh, yes, I love that. That's so juicy.
I got 3 successes. I'm going to use a willpower to reroll the 2 dice. I got 4 successes.
You can stay still, absolutely, and you can soak and take those 3 damage. Amber,
Superficial or aggravated?
aggravated. Amber is also going to take that no way, she's too distracted. But a quiet falls as the damage is done. 2 of the most powerful beings any of you has ever seen, and one of their hounds has just fallen. The rest are being attacked by a crowd of werewolves, vampires, wraiths, humans who have attacked the city. These shades start to back off. One, in particular, approaches Madame Ime. One approaches Auguste. The one that approaches Madame Ime. And yes, if anybody who wants to communicate this with Fanaa can. The one that approaches Madame Ime I don't know how you did this. Was it you?
I told you. I am a warrior.
We just came to hunt a bit of prey.
She spits. You took my family. And for that, I will make you suffer.
We'll see you next time then, I suppose.
I would be lucky to have your head.
You would. The shade sort of bows a little to you as though it sees you as an equal. Um Looking and turning away. The one that approached you, Auguste. You should not be here.
But I am.
Should we unburden you?
I am sorry to say, but even with your great number, we do outnumber you. It would be smarter for you all to walk away.
Oh, we're going. And the creature sort of reaches out a hand to you, and the hand around your arm is pulled away.
No,
This
no, no,
sort
no,
of-
no, 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 no.
This
August
isn't
has like
yours.
forced. August hasn't looked at Henry this whole time because he knows that if he looks, he will stay or just like fully break, and he can't do that. So has been looking away this whole time, and this is like the first time that he allowed his eyes to look upon the wraith image at all.
This isn't yours. This is ours. I should have collected this a long time ago. You did this, did you not?
No.
It grips you, but not for long as it's tugged away. That grasp.
August like is trying to reload the crossbow, but you can't reload a crossbow with one hand, and is like furiously gripping with one hand and like struggling to reload with the other, and it keeps like the twine of the string just keeps like fraying and almost getting to like the end to reload and then falling down.
Mm-hmm. It leaves, pulling Henry away, the last remains of Henry's spirit away. They all start to leave the city, glaring at you, all of you, hungry and disappointed at Fanaa in particular. But they leave. There is no promise that they won't come back. There are several corpses of theirs strewn apart on the city street, and they vanish. As they do, the city turns back to color. Amber bleeding on the sidewalk. Fanaa, you two pretty injured, but holding your composure. All of you have survived, but there is no promise this won't come back. What would you all do? Not necessarily in this moment, but what would your characters be planning? I will start with Enoch. Yeah.
I think just a quick description of what he does right afterwards. I think in the fight he's been firing and then eventually goes to not hand to hand, but has like he kept one of the silver stakes on him and been using that as a melee weapon. And once the gray recedes and the color comes back again, I think finds himself not too far from Kim and doesn't say anything. It's still very much a look in his eye of someone who doesn't recognize this person who apparently he has history with, but just gives them a nod um, before heading away, leaving. Doesn't
I
say a
think
word to anyone.
I think what would be very is while we are still in that other plane, after Kim has just eviscerated this rider, she is completely drenched in this ichor. You can see it in her hair, on her skin. It's dripping from her fangs. And she looks like a monster. You can't see any of her face, you can't see any features that make her human. But as we eventually pull out of that, the ichor's gone. It's not there. And you can't, well, you can't see it as a human. And she and doesn't say anything.
And I think actually he will say something. A decent distance. He's already started began to walk away, but he kind of stops and without looking around just says, What was her name?
It doesn't matter. It changes nothing. This changes nothing. I will find you, and we will on our own terms.
If that ends up being the case, I suppose you'll see your sister soon. And he'll continue walking.
I think Ime catches up with Enoch and hands him a piece of paper. And it's just Amaya's contact info, credentials, everything that Ime has. Her
Looks
subordinates.
down. Looks down at this. And I think there's no doubt he's not one to really hide his emotion, especially when in this mindset right after a battle. There's a moment where you see that it seems like he's about to just screw up this piece of paper. But then he kind of stops himself. You see the coins have crinkled in on itself, but he stops himself and neatly folds it for pocketing it. And will look to Madame Ime. I hope that we don't end up on the opposite sides of each other. Because to be quite honest, I don't think it's my place to deal with you. It seems like at some point, you and Auguste had history, so I'll leave that to him.
That's fair. Take care of your family. I know the importance of that. If there's anything else I can provide to you, that's yours. You just need to ask.
I would say that I don't mean for this to come across as rude, but quite frankly, I don't care. Your
Well, that
first
makes two
impression
of
was
us.
someone who could not keep their word. If I'm going to need their help, I'm going to reach out to someone who can.
staying stuck in the past and looking constantly over your shoulder will never allow you a future. Remember that. And she just walks away and actually heads towards Auguste.
Auguste. Ime heads towards you after this. How you doing?
Is in this just state of pure shock, is just staring at where Henry was taken. And like mouth harp agape in a what would have been no, but by the time he tried to open his mouth to say it, it was already happened. The last 20 years of time have almost been completely erased from him. He's back as where he was when he lost Henry the first time. I think, Ime, you kind of find Auguste in this haze. If it's okay, I think any form of conversation just kind of deflects off as he like needs processing time. Even like any form of physical contact is like kind of washed away as he turns and walks down the fire escape. And to him, there's this haze of Henry leaving. And then he's almost standing outside of the IAO building, forgetting the goodbyes and the small words of affirmation. Don't worry, I will have Auguste speak to you, on a comeback.
Honestly, Ime wasn't even going to talk to him because she knows that look. She's experienced it many times in her life. And it may not register, but what she did do was she took that paper that he left for her and scratched out the word her and put him and put it in his pocket.
Auguste comes to himself standing at the IAO building with that note in his hand. Like he's been reading it non-stop over and over and over again. He walks in. Security, I imagine,
Are wanding him. Yeah, of course.
And then nothing comes up.
Nothing. There's no blip.
And then he walks to Samson's office. Knocks.
What? Sorry, come in.
He walks in. We didn't.
Okay, great. What are you doing here?
I do like you, Samson.
Okay.
But I do believe your management skills are. There was a threat not only to New York, the world. And I was left without any people, any hunters, any knowledge. But
Yeah,
I understand. It was not personal, and it was purely professional. So, please, know that this is not personal. This is purely professional. Enoch's going to pull out a revolver and shoot him in the head.
He collapses cold onto his desk. Fanaa, Amber, in the cold, like, light of the night, rolls over, covered in ichor, a little bit worse for wear. You okay?
I think Fanaa doesn't really hear Amber, and they had just been lying there, kind of staring up into the night sky, all of this kind of winding down around them. And at the tail end of everybody's interactions, I think, Fanaa just bursts into laughter. They just start laughing, and it's nervous laughter at first, and then it starts to transition. I think the longer that it goes on, it starts to transition into real laughter. And eventually, I think they just kind of say out loud, "They attacked me and I'm fine. I'm still here. They attacked me and I'm fine."
Okay, if you're laughing, I'm laughing. I'm totally laughing. I mean, fine doesn't seem exact, but you're alive and we're alive.
Rapture. It wasn't even. I'm fine. I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it.
And I think Fanaa kind of like turns their head, finally like processing that Amber is here, and just kind of looks at her with this big smile on their face. I I'm here. I'm fine. Do you understand? Like they
Yeah, they clearly wanted to kill you specifically. But you're here. You're okay.
have all my life I've been running, and I'm fine. I didn't run, and I'm fine.
Hey. Look, there. You
And
stood pretty still.
Fanaa holds like a very tired, because they are so injured, a very tired hand up to Amber. They take her and they pull her down to lie down next to them.
Easy.
Making sure her head doesn't like hit the concrete or whatever, obviously. But they pull her down to lie down next to them, and still holding her hand, I think they just kind of laugh and lie there, because for the first time in their life, weirdly enough, I think they feel safe.
She starts to laugh, match your laugh, and you just sort of giggle up together at the night sky as it passes away. The ichor slowly disappears from the streets as the sun slowly makes its rotation around. The threat is not gone forever, but it is gone for now. And you are all still here. That is where we will end. I am so sorry we went very late. I will do a quick little hi, I'm Dillin. I am so happy that I got to GM this this Vampire the Masquerade Hunter the Reckoning mashup. Absolutely adore. Drak, can you tell everybody who you are and how great you are?
Oh, great. Oh my God. Hi, I'm Drak or Draconic. You can follow me on Twitter at Draconics. It's DRAKONIQUES. Thank you all so much for tuning in on this little project of ours. It was just a brainchild idea, and then these incredible players and the storyteller managed to make it an actual beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful to all of you and everyone watching. I do a bunch of TTRPG stuff similar to this, but just follow me on Twitter to figure out what I'm doing at any given moment. I'm going to throw it over to Matt.
Hi there, beautiful, wonderful people. Hi, thank you so much for coming along. For the last time, have been Matt, Captain Krail, they, he, love that they.
Are you changing your name?
Talking to your mic.
Oh my gosh, I am
Thank
Matt, Captain Krail, they, he, they on all things. They on all things? That's true as well.
Yes. Gang.
Let's go.
I primarily do The Adamless, which is a Starfinder podcast show. Beautiful, wonderful. Go and listen to it. It's my love, my life. It's been such a grand honor to be here. I appreciate it more than anything. I love the gang. I love my Auguste. I love that absolutely ridiculous little rat. I am gonna pass it on to. Is it even frenemies anymore?
I think we're friends.
I think they're friends.
I think we're friends.
August vampire friend Raven.
Growth, people, growth. Hi, I'm Raven. They, she, any pronouns. I played Madame Ime, who was a boss ass bitch. I do a lot of TTRPG stuff. I am just like so thrilled that I was able to do this. This was amazing. I'm sad that it's over, but I'm so grateful to have been here. And yeah, I'm gonna pass it over to Hamnah.
Hi, hello. My name is Hamnah. I have forgotten everything. My brain after that whole thing just blipped. That session destroyed my brain. I'm going to start over. Hello, everybody. My name is Hamnah. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer and producer. You can find me on all the social medias at Lilith TTRPG. That's where I do things and say things. If you want to know where I am at any given point in time, Twitter is the best place to be. And I am really grateful to have been part of this cast. Thank you so much, Drak, for putting it together. You should be proud of yourself for that.
I am a genius for putting you geniuses together. I'll take.
You're a genius for being a genius. But it was really wonderful, and I thank you, the audience, so much for coming every week to watch us. And with that, I will pass it over to Stella.
Hello. I'm Stellaluna on Twitch, Stellaluna TV on all other social media. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Demiplane. Thank you to Hero Forge, and thank you Sin, our producer and background technician. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sin. Sin is incredible. Anyone who's looking for a tech producer, reach out to Sin. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I had an absolute blast. I would love to play with any one of these people. Please follow them. Please support them. They are excellent people in this space, and they are doing excellent things. And yeah, happy Pride, y'all.
Happy
That's
Pride,
it.
yeah.
Thank you, Demiplane. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and thank you to the World of Darkness for making these games for us to play in. And we will. This is the end, so maybe we'll see you in the future. But that is it for now.
Shout out to Hero Forge too. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, and yes, a shout out to Hero Forge for helping us make our characters and for those top surgery scars. Love it. Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Bye.